Thursday night at 7, so you know what that's right. It's time to tune in with Mona on Lots of Tea tonight.
She's finished with the makeup and her wig is on just right.
She's gonna spill the tea on a talk show, that's right. We're gonna speak on topics that might be hard to take. Understand we gotta until the whole wide world's awake. Let's not waste another moment and get on with the show, cause it's time to get things started. Why don't we get things started?
You better get things started.
On the most vexational, informational, celebrational, confrontational. Now it's time for Mona and her show. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It's great to be back on live with all of you here at Lots of Tea. The past year and a half has been challenging and trying, of course. Right as soon as we were taking off and going strong with the live, and I had taken on a new job, and it was consuming my life both day and night. And so I had no time to be on with you guys, and I thank you all so much for the messages and the encouraging words that you sent me, saying how you missed me and where are you at? I got so many. Where are you? We missed you. So it is really good to be back, and we are going to go strong with this on the first and the third Thursday of every month. You will see us live here on TikTok, Facebook, and of course it streams live to my YouTube channel, Lots of Tea, as well. If you're not following that, you can do that. It has all of our old broadcasts on there as well from the years before. A little twist on what we're doing with Lots of Tea now. When it was burning on my heart to kind of go in a different direction when we were going full circle. And that was kind of more of, to lack of a better word, ministry, but to outreach to those people who are hurting for some reason or just need a safe space. Even though it's virtual, it is still a safe space. We believe in freedom of speech here, but you won't talk negative about anyone in the LGBT community or trans community, any drag community, any of it will not be accepted here, and you will be banned and kicked out. But other than that, we accept free speech. We just aren't going to tolerate it. This is a safe space, and we want it to be that way. Feel free to comment. Our workers here in the studio are watching the live feed and taking any comments that you may have. I see there's a couple already in there. So if you have any questions for our panelists of guests that are on today, feel free to ask questions, and we'll try to get to those as fast and as easy as possible. Also, you can private message us too, so you don't have to see it in everyone's, so everyone doesn't have to see what you're saying. But that is available as well for you down there. Now, with the new revamp of the show, I am pleased and absolutely ecstatic for, I was wanting a co-host of some kind. I am just like so thirsty. Excuse my Polar Pop. It's like my first time ever speaking or something. I'm like, as soon as the intro music came on, I just went dry. But I wanted to have a co-host, and I wanted someone who, could talk with me and kind of help things along and keep things going and things like that. But I wanted someone special. And in that what I mean by that is not necessarily, let's just say this. I had an individual reach out to me, a dear friend of mine, and she's like, I want to be a guest on your show, someday. And I said, well, I know what a profession is. I said, well, what do you think about being my co-host? And it was just within minutes, literally minutes, we had figured it all out. And, she is going to be joining me right now. We call her Large Marge. She is large and in charge, of course. How are you doing, Miss Marge?
I am wonderful, Miss Mona. I do have a definite case of hair envy because yours is just so great and so big and so beautiful. And I feel
Thank you.
very tiny hair today. I'm gonna have to invest in a better
We'll get
wig.
to teasing that. We'll tease it.
Yes, yeah, I need to rat it a little bit. Um,
So,
um,
tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am a practicing licensed professional clinical counselor in the state of Ohio. I am a trauma therapist, and when I saw the change in the direction that you were going with this, I was like, I got to get in on this. I got to get involved. The topics that you want to cover, the challenges are so close to my heart, and they're things that I deal with on a regular basis. And I thought, what a better, fit for my personality than to come on as a guest for you. And then you invited me to be your co-host, and I'm very, very, very happy about that. Um, when I think about therapists, and I was thinking about kind of the therapist that I wanted to express myself as, I was looking at Dr. Phil, I was looking at Dr. Ruth, and I was like, I know I am the trash heap from Fraggle Rock. I'm Marjorie. And then the best thing that I could think of was I'm Large Marge. So I'm very happy to be here, and we're going to tell him Large Marge sent him.
That's right. And if she sends for you, you better be ready. And how
Mm-hmm.
funny with the opening. I mean, there's Fraggle Rock, there's the Muppets. Hey, we'll do it.
Oh, yeah,
What'd you think of
I'll
the
do
opening
anything that involves a
song?
Muppet.
Right, me too. What'd you think of the opening number?
Oh, I loved it. It was great. I love you got all the characters in there. Yeah.
I sang it by myself the one night and I just hated it, and I like making up characters as and so along came the gruff guy, and he started singing, and then the little British lady, I don't know where she came from. She was just doing hair and makeup. She does my hair and makeup, obviously. That's where. So I'm glad
Well,
you
I'll
enjoyed it.
bring
I
out
hope
my
everyone else
multiple
enjoyed it.
personalities for you. I'll bring out my multiple personalities for you, and I will be Statler and Waldorf in the stands up here, and
Perfect.
pop in when you need me.
Yeah, yeah. And we'll be up in the balcony.
Yes, in the balcony.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So as you said, you are specialized in trauma, which is absolutely great for the direction that we're going. Can you touch on that a little bit? What that actually means?
Well, I mean, when we look at trauma, we're looking at a lot of different things. It used to be when we looked at trauma, we looked at life-threatening incidents, and we looked at things that maybe threatened your life or the life of someone that you were close to that you witnessed. And now we're looking a lot more at developmental trauma and attachment trauma and more complex trauma, things that we experience in small doses throughout a lifetime, um, that are just over and over played in our lives on repeat. And and when you're looking at the LGBTQ community, you're really looking at such an oppressed community up until recently, and then now we're just kind of getting re-hit with, we're going to take you down. And that is trauma. That is trauma. That it's a threat to the art, it's a threat to the livelihood, it's a threat to people's lives, to their choices, to their voices. And these are all negative beliefs that we deal with when we're looking at trauma. Is how do these beliefs develop in our lives? Where do they start? And then present triggers around that, and treating that, it's just going to be so detrimental to the world at large, just to have more and more people knowingly being traumatized.
Right. And it's scary. It's absolutely scary. I was just saying to people the other day, we're going backwards. The theme of today's show, the title is, how did we get here? I have no idea.
Mhm.
I really don't. And I
Right,
have
how
no
did
idea
we
where it's
get
going.
here? How did we
Yeah,
get back
yeah,
somewhere we were, 100 years ago?
yeah. And it literally has. And it's I've seen it through. So, well, we'll just say that. But we're going to take a quick break, real quick, and then I'm going to come back and do a little song, I think, and then we'll bring our panel out. What do you think? All right, we'll be right back. AH Manufacturing LLC is your crowdsourced solution to expedite product assembly. We offer electronic assembly and hand assembly, and we also offer 3D printing services. Contact us today at the email provided. Again, AH Manufacturing LLC, your crowdsourced solution. All right, so we're back. I'm going to do a little song. I'm not going to be singing a lot through these shows, but this song actually kind of spoke to me. I love this song, and I'm going to be doing it in a couple of weeks at a show in Medina for a drag me to dinner. So bear with me because it's new, and I'm got the wonderful voice thing going on tonight. We have the chance to turn the pages over. We can write what we want to write. We gotta make ends meet before we get much older. Ooh, we're all someone's daughters. We're all someone's sons. How long can we look at each other? Down the barrel of a gun. You're the voice trying to understand it. Make a noise and make it clearer. Whoa. We're not gonna sit in silence. We're not gonna live in fear. Oh, whoa. This time, you see, we all must stand together with the power to be powerful. Believe and we can make it better. Ooh, we're all someone's daughters. We're all someone's sons. How long can we look at each other? Down the barrel of a gun, with a voice trying to understand it. Make a noise and make it clearer. Whoa, we're not gonna sit in silence. We're not gonna live in fear. Oh, whoa. It's a time like now than ever before that we don't keep silence and join forces together as one country. Ooh, we're all someone's daughters. We're all someone's sons. Down the barrel of a gun, with a voice trying to understand it. Make a noise and make it clearer. Whoa, we're not gonna sit in silence. We're not gonna live in fear. No. Whoa, we're not gonna sit in silence. We're not gonna live in fear. Oh, whoa. We're not. Whoa, whoa. We're not gonna sit in silence. We're not gonna live in fear. Oh, whoa. Whew. That song, I mean, I'll tell you what, I heard that song. That was the choir of men. Welcome back, Large Marge. I don't know if you know, I put you back on the screen just in case you were gonna. But the choir of men, they're just so powerful. But this song is actually like kind of like an anthem in Australia. It's like their anthem. It's so crazy. And it's exactly how we should be. And speaking of not being silent and reaching out and speaking out, we're going to have our panelists, our wonderful guests join us right now. We have from Northeast Ohio, from Canton, the amazing and talented, the legend, Danielle Vasquez. Welcome her. Hi, Miss
Thank
Danielle.
you.
How are you?
I'm
So
great.
glad
How
to
are
have
you?
you on tonight. I'm
Hi,
fantastic. You look beautiful as always.
thank you. You too. Hi, Large Marge. Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
And you know
What's up?
what? We're going to give Danielle that. We're going to give Danielle that hair, and she'll get you set up just like she looks. Look at her.
I got the hair envy today. This is a
I know.
bad
I have a
flat
show
day.
after. I have a show after this, so I put everything on to get ready. I just did this hair like 2 hours ago.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
And joining us from I believe she's in Knoxville, but from Tennessee, she is a drag performer as well as a trans woman, and she is an advocate for the trans community. The wonderful Story Vanessa. How are you? Welcome. Oh, we can't hear you. Your microphone's muted.
Hi, thanks for
There you
having
are.
me.
Hi, dear. So
There
glad
we
that you
go.
can make it here with us today. If you haven't seen Story, she's been all over the news and TikTok, talking about everything that's going on in her wonderful state right now, the state of distress, really.
Yeah.
And we're so glad to have you, and it is an honor and a pleasure to finally meet you here on Lots of Tea.
Well, thank you for having me.
And absolutely, and when I was going to do this, I was already in the direction. I was already going uh, we were going to start with narcissist was going to be our little study, and being in trauma bonds. That was what tonight was going to be about. And then this stuff started happening in Tennessee, and across my TikTok was this loudmouth from the South on her megaphone, screaming and yelling and telling people to now is the time to standing around and doing nothing. Your voices need to be heard, and that is the lovely and wonderful Miss Kim Spoon. Hi, Kim. How are you? So glad.
Hey, ladies, I'm good.
I was like, she's just gonna give a wave.
Jesus.
So glad of you to join us. If you haven't seen Kim's TikTok about I was going to have it on here tonight and I didn't. I don't know what happened to it. But it's on my Facebook page, I believe, of her tell us how that happened. What were you were out in the megaphone. You have this megaphone and you're talking to a crowd of people.
I don't go, Mona, I don't go anywhere without my megaphone nowadays.
I'm going to start doing that.
Yeah, Story's organization, Knox Pride, was putting on a protest called Enough is Enough, specifically on that day because there was a Senate bill up that day to ban transgender care for children. And they had asked me to speak at that. And it just so happened that while I was speaking, I got the news from somebody at Knox Pride that SB1 had actually passed while we were having the protest. I was specifically screaming at all of the straight women who love to go to the drag brunches, the gay bars, the drag shows, that it's time for them to get off their ass and speak up and speak out to anybody that will listen, and to start showing up to go to bat for our friends in the community.
Amen.
Absolutely. And since that has happened, drag queens all across the country have been, been telling these women. And one very important queen, Silky Ganache from RuPaul's Drag Race, this is what she had to say.
Hey, you guys, this message is for bachelorette parties, housewives, and the birthday girls that love to come to the gay clubs for drag shows or drag brunch. If that's not you, it's the stage left. Now that everybody else is gone, I got to call you bitches out because our community is under attack and you bitches ain't said nothing. Y'all ain't said a word. And gay clubs are getting shut down left and right. You got legislation and laws that some of y'all husband, cousins, uncle, and daddies are putting into effect. And y'all ain't said nothing. Your silence is heard, sus. Your silence is heard.
Yeah, and that's it's the truth. I hate to say this. I'll probably get in trouble for it. Let's just start with the whole drag scene that where they're going. What is it exactly, story that they're saying with the drag scene? The ban.
So, are you asking about the rhetoric that's occurring here in Tennessee?
Yeah, like what is their stipulations, briefly, what is it that they're
So,
actually banning?
oh, okay. So, they're saying, well, it really depends on who you talk to. Some of them are saying that, this is just to protect the children. It's just to ensure that there's a law in place that would, you know, punish somebody who's doing something obscene. But we already have those laws in place. Um, these laws are really just meant to criminalize and demonize queer art, queer culture, queer people. So I mean, that's really the effect. The effect is more, just chilling the queer community and especially the trans community. We're,
Yeah.
trans people in Tennessee are concerned about, you know, even if they're not drag performers. I spoke to a trans woman here who is a dance instructor, and she's not sure if she's going to be able to keep her job.
Oh my.
We're honestly concerned about going to the grocery store. Like if I've got my AirPods in and I'm singing along with my favorite song while I'm walking through the grocery store, is that performing? And the people here who care, the people here who are hateful towards trans and non-binary and gender non-conforming people are not going to make a distinction between me as a trans woman and me as a drag entertainer.
Right.
They're just trying to legislate us out of public spaces in general as queer people.
Yes, exactly. And they're saying, we're a threat to children,
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
we're groomers, and you don't get groomed to be gay. Yeah, I mean, science has already told us that. I know that I am a gay man. I know I may be a fabulous woman, but I am a gay man actually. Uh, but it's who we are. It's our makeup. It's our DNA. It's who we are. Uh, and I've never been a fan of children being at a drag show. Um, I've done the brunches. Danielle, do you want to touch on any of that?
No,
I know
I'm
you.
same. We were talking earlier. Am I itching to perform for children? Absolutely not. It's not what I do drag for. We didn't do it. I've been doing drag for 29 years now, and we never performed for children before. So I really don't understand why we feel the need that we have to perform for little kids now. Um, I don't mind like if they're like 16, that's different. But when you're
Right.
bringing kids are like a sponge. They soak everything up. One day they're this, one day they're that. And so I try to look at both sides of the argument because I feel like everybody's just yelling at each other and nobody wants to listen. Like we don't want to listen
Right.
to their side and have a civil conversation, and they don't want to listen to our side and have a civil conversation, to meet in the middle, and to understand that we are not groomers. We do not want your kids. I don't care how many kids become transgender. I don't care.
Right.
They will know when the time is right.
Right.
I'm not forcing that upon anybody. But as for drag shows, I just feel that it is adult entertainment, unless it's specifically truly a family-friendly event, which I have done. And we were talking about that. It was a Disney show where we were covered up, Disney music,
That's
the
different.
kids,
Right.
the kids loved it, and they had no idea. They just thought we were fairy princesses dressed up, I
Clowns.
understand. Yeah, and I understand that parents want to teach
You know,
their kids, inclusivity and all this, how everyone is different in the world. But I can also see their side of why they're scared that children are watching drag shows, because I've seen some of those drag shows that they're talking about on YouTube, and I was completely disgusted. So I feel like there needs to be like a conversation about what is appropriate, what isn't appropriate. I don't have any problem with parents teaching about, drag queens, about gay, LGBTQ, trans, all that. But I just feel sometimes that, I'm not really, I don't want to perform for children. I just don't.
and I agree with you.
And
with you totally
but I'm
on that.
not, I'm not saying, I'm not saying the others shouldn't. I'm not attacking people for doing it. The ones that I would be attacking would be the ones that are inappropriate. And we've all seen those videos. And it's a handful. It's really like minuscule compared to the abundance of family friendly, follow the rules, kind of thing. But those few make it really bad. Those few make it really bad.
They do.
I mean,
They absolutely do. And
I just saw a drag show on YouTube last night where it's all these little babies and kids and their mothers, and half naked drag queen coming down on a trapeze, and then one twerking in front of them, and the other one was spreading his legs like in front. It's all these little kids. I don't get it.
And that's where we get the bad rap. And that's where the bad rap comes from.
That's what gives us the bad rap. Yeah, for sure.
Unfortunately, right? Because I know, like in the ones that I've been involved in, there's
performance is performance, and why do we have to skip from? Why does it have to be all or nothing?
Yeah.
Why are we going from, well, you can perform, or no, you can't do this at all? And like Story was saying, like, you can't even sing in the grocery store.
Yeah, that's
if I'm walking down Sam's Club and Shoop comes on and I start singing, no one's gonna throw shade at me. So I don't understand why we have to go from all or nothing. If you're doing a non-family friendly drag show, let's advertise it as such. If it is a family friendly drag show, let's advertise that as such.
100%.
I caught a ton of flack at Ashtabula's first Pride.
Who's to say they're not going to come for you if they're wearing your wig,
Well, absolutely. And they did, because when I performed at Ashtabula's first Pride, I caught a ton of flack for imitating an oral sex act on stage at Pride, when all I did was spin in the talent show my partner in front of me and push her down when I was singing Big Spender.
Wait, did I judge you?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And I'm not up there twerking. I'm not up there. I had more clothes on. When I took my clothes off, I had a full snowsuit on. I'm 350 pounds. I'm not getting up there bug ass naked. Like, that's not going to happen.
That wasn't bad at all. And like, it just happened so quick. You pushed.
And I'm a straight female, and
but they don't know
I
that.
was right.
They don't know
right. And because I was just in a place surrounded by people that I love and support, I still caught flack for it. And so what, I guess that's my point, is like, I'm not going to take my 5-year-old to a drag show where I know there's going to be penis shots at the bar. I don't think you should take a baby into a bar or an establishment that is primarily serving alcohol to start with.
Right.
Why are we taking kids to drag brunch?
Well,
Do you all think that this
To a bar.
started when we came back from COVID, where the drag
Yes.
community was our entertainment again, and we were primarily performing in straight venues?
Because of the fact that we were quarantined and there was a curfew at 7, they started doing all these drag brunches and they exploded everywhere during quarantine.
Everywhere.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, during that whole, and because we only had a few, like you would hear of a drag brunch here and there, and then literally every state was popping up with drag brunches because we
Everywhere.
couldn't perform after 7 p.m. at night,
Well-
and it just kind of stuck, you know. And I don't know where the kids came into it though. I guess because it was public restaurants and stuff like that, but
Well, some little girl not too long ago was selling Girl Scout cookies outside of a drag show or a drag brunch, and she sold out all of her cookies because the queens all were like, "Hey, we're gonna buy your cookies. We're gonna help you sell these cookies." And I think that's a fantastic sense of community.
we love children.
That's an
And-
amazing sense of community. But you don't, as a parent, you just don't take your kid to a place where you know it's going to be all sex jokes.
Right, exactly.
Period.
And let's
Like-
face it.
Right.
Let's face it. Drag is not fun unless it's dirty. I mean, or raunchy, or you know. I mean, it's just nobody wants to go see us dressed up with collars up to here and baggy clothes and doing Anne Murray songs. Like it's not fun. It's
Right.
you know,
Right.
it's
Right.
Right.
nightlife. It's raunchy. It's comical. It's sexy. It's all kinds of things.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
Story
I
has
think that
something.
there is something to be said for representation, though, and I do think that there is some level of that happening with these drag brunches that kids are invited to that are supposed to be these family-friendly events. And any producer worth their salt should be ensuring that that event really is family-friendly, that you know
Right.
their performers are not doing anything that is too risque, is too, you know, adult oriented. But I do think, again, representation matters. I work with a lot of kids in my work at the Knox Pride Community and Resource Center, and there is a difference when they get to when our trans kids, you know, teens and preteens get to see a trans adult and realize, you know, there are trans adults out there. This is someone like me. This is somebody who understands me. This is an adult who understands me. Like, that is very powerful, and that's bigger than, you know. I don't think representation can be really overstated in this. And there are definitely kids. I would have loved to have seen a drag show as a young teenager, you know, as a teenager, because, oh my goodness, there's somebody like me. I didn't meet my first trans woman until I was 18 years old and going to the gay bar. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, that's an option.
Same with-
So
Yeah.
Right.
I was
that
24.
really is
I was
important.
33.
Mm-hmm.
I was 33 when I first met trans individuals. When I started doing drag, it was all new to me. You know, being raised very strict Pentecostal upbringing, and you know, even though I was out and proud, it was, you know, it was different. You know, and I had, you know, and I went to my own self, and I was like, it's none of my business. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
right.
not my life. It does not matter to me. It's not affecting me just as much as my life is none of anybody else's business. We are granted this life to live it as we are to live it, you know, and what I want to touch on here in a minute with Kim is, you know, I was thinking the other day, I said to my team, I said, you know, when I was born, the day I was born, when I took my first breath, I was automatically granted the same exact freedom and rights that everybody else was. And I don't know who or what or when it happened that they decided, oh, we're just going to say, well, you know what? This group of people, they're not allowed these things. When did that happen? You know, I just don't understand it. I don't. It doesn't make sense to me that.
Well, they're using children as a ploy as well. It's not all about that they care that these children are seeing drag performers. they're using kids as a ploy to.
It's nothing more
Whenever
than
a child is
excuse.
involved in anything, people get serious and they
get serious.
and that's
Well,
what they're doing.
yeah.
I mean,
and that's that was Kim's point in her speech.
mm-hmm.
She always talks about, this is a distraction.
Very much so.
All these other failures.
Yes. Kim, speak to us on that. Tell us about, and you had said you were sick of them using, the Bible and in the name of God, all of that.
I'm really sick of it, and I'm going to be the Debbie Downer here. This has nothing to do with children. These people that are pushing these laws and these bans don't give a damn about children. They really don't. They are a bunch of freaking hypocrites. And you want to know how we got here? Christian nationalism is how we got here. This has been building. This didn't just happen in the last couple of years. It's been building since the Reagan years. We've got a bunch of lunatics in charge here in Tennessee. We've been all over the national news with our Lieutenant Governor, Randy McNally, who's been voting for these bans, but yet he's been on IG, on Instagram, commenting with the flame emojis and hearts on a 17-year-old
And
gay
the
little boy.
eggplant emoji.
Mm-hmm. That's what
You know
I
what?
said.
And
So he
I'm glad
doesn't give it. He's the groomer.
Mm-hmm.
He's the groomer.
right.
All of these people
Right.
are grooming kids in hate. They're filling them with hate.
Do you know
These
over
people
4,000?
are evil. And
Go ahead.
I hate to bring this up. I hate to say the F word. People think I'm overreacting. It's fascism. This is fascism, and people better wake the hell up. This is how the Holocaust started. The Holocaust didn't start with crematoriums. There were a lot of gay folks that were burned along with the Jews during the Holocaust. This is all about minimizing,
Jews,
criminalizing, and oppressing a group of people that's already oppressed.
And it's not going to stop at us.
Literally on your neck.
It's not going to stop at us. It's going to keep
it's
going.
not.
It's going to become the black people. It's going to become the people of color.
My friend wrote an article, an opinion piece, and her first line was that women are the canary in the coal mine. Mm-hmm. They started, the very first thing here that was done in Tennessee was with a ban on abortion. We're literally property now. We don't have a say-so over our future, our financial future, our emotional future, our future, period. If you're forced to have a child, you don't have any control over your life. So it started with that. And if they're going to suppress women as a whole, then just imagine how many marginalized groups are going to have laws passed against them.
The hypocrisy of everything going on with that whole party and your governor. I want to show a couple clips real quick because you brought them up. But governor, as we know, was what they showed. And I'm sorry if you're going to say that it's wrong. You cannot impersonate another gender, then you can't impersonate another gender. Period. We're not. Now they're trying to make exceptions. Oh well, that was just powder puff football, and you can't. Let's see what your governor had to say when he was called out at a outside by a news reporter when his picture dressed as a woman. He was dressed as a woman with the pearl necklace and all.
Hard luck,
God
woman.
bless his heart. Yeah, exactly. This is what he had to say.
What a ridiculous question that is. Conflating something like that to sexualized entertainment in front of children, which is a very serious subject.
Drag is not sexual.
I mean, he was trying to say, it's sexualized. Like drag is. It's not. I mean, go ahead.
Two conservative politicians, especially here, it seemed to be, especially here in Tennessee, and I would argue in Arkansas and in Texas and in many of these other states, queerness is sexual. Just inherently sexual. So
Right.
anything queer is just automatically sexual.
We're
They
just a little bit.
sexualize
We're a
me as
little
a
more out
trans.
about it. Everybody's sexual. I don't care what you say. We're
Well,
just a little more
Right.
out about it. But
well,
straight people
But
are
you know,
probably
my
worse.
parents didn't
but it's
talk
Human
about
beings
sex.
are
We didn't-
sexual beings.
And we're more sexual than we've ever been. Like with TV, music, internet,
Oh my
Grinder, all
gosh,
these
look at what
hookup
has
apps. Straight men on
changed.
Grinder trying to pick up the trans women, but they don't want people to know, honey. You know, Stormy, Story. You know that. I'm sorry. I want to say
Yeah,
Stormy every time, but you know how it is.
I
Like
do, but
we're
it's
just a
not
little
even
more
that.
free.
It's not even that. They don't have a problem with you know a mixed mixed sex couple kissing on TV in a kids cartoon,
Right.
anything like that. But as soon as it's a same sex couple, as soon as one of the characters is trans, automatically it becomes sexual because they just view queerness as sexual and deviant and
Deviant.
perverse. And
That's
it
a good
has
word.
nothing to do with actual sexuality, because if that was the problem, they wouldn't let kids into the Hooters or into the Twin Peaks. We've had posts go around up here of a young lady who works at a Twin Peaks in her outfit that she wears to work, and it is much more revealing than most of the drag costumes I've seen. So
And
it's
and you know what? I'm
it's
glad that you
our
mentioned
inherent
that.
queerness that makes us more sexual in their eyes.
But do
I'm
you
glad that
think
you
that
mentioned that
we're?
because right here.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say,
Go
do you
ahead.
think
Go ahead,
we're
Jamie.
to blame at all for that? The years of the gay prides where it's all sex. I mean, it's literally they used to be nothing but about sex and fetish and this and that. Do you think that we're to blame for that
Well, I
a
tend to be
little bit?
I'm very sex positive, and Knox Pride is very sex positive, and I don't see sexuality as necessarily bad or evil or perverse.
Thank you. Yes.
I don't. No, I'm not saying it's perverse.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, they all these prides in the past. I'm talking about in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s.
Well,
Do you think that has helped ingrain that into their minds? Like, look at those deviants. Because I would say
yeah.
the same thing if I didn't know better. I would. I mean, like, what are they doing in public? Like,
But
nobody else can understand where I'm coming from, or not?
yeah,
I
I understand where you're coming from.
Oh,
So,
I mean,
I wasn't there.
I wasn't either.
Yeah,
but
I don't.
I saw it on TV. My dad was gay, um, and I remember things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen some things that maybe I wouldn't have felt comfortable in, but I also bodies are bodies. Like, I think that this is just maybe it's just our, kind of American, kind of puritanical, just reservation about, skin and bodies and things like that. And so, I mean,
and we're talking about the clothing and being, in front of children and everything. I find it humorous. Someone had actually sent this to me. We all know Hooters and everything, but even in Tennessee, we have what's called Twin Peaks, and these are your waitresses at Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Amazing.
The big three pictures are kind of covered up for
Get there.
the ones I've seen.
And children are allowed in there. I mean, that, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Hypocrites.
there's a little baby being held. Yeah.
Hypocrites.
And then of course, take your children to Hooters. We'll put a shirt on them and have them have boobs. And what's the difference right there? This is Tennessee's Hooters, everyone.
This
let's
has
put a
nothing
That
to do
is
with
grooming.
kids.
That's grooming.
That is
Right.
grooming.
But we won't look at that. I mean, look at the cheeks of the waitresses hanging out, and their butt cheeks hanging out. Like, that is, I know that. I mean, my parents took that for whatever reason. Bless their heart, praise the Lord. My Christian family took me right there to Hooters in Daytona Beach when we went down because we had to go. But we're gonna say that that's grooming. But we're gonna ignore. Sorry. We're going to look at Drag Queen Storybook Hour, got the protest outside, that this is the same as what we're, that
Yeah.
what we just saw is grooming and disgusting in front of children. You have children here that are happy. Drag
Yeah,
queen
there's nothing
storybook
there's
hour.
nothing sexual about drag queen story time.
No, not at all. And this isn't something that should be banned. And I'm all for the drag queen storybook hour. I mean,
Me
geez
too.
Louise, if I were to do, I feel like a a clown anyway. I was thinking tonight as I was getting ready, I'm like, I used to be a clown.
Look
years
at
ago.
Pee Wee Herman.
And I'm like, yeah, right.
Every night
all
at
the
my
things that
house is drag
it's a
queen story hour.
character.
Yeah,
It's a character in front of a
character.
child. It's not sexual.
Exactly.
I do agree with that. I agree with drag queen story time. I don't have any problem with that at all. Yeah, but again, it's not
And,
about the kids. They're using the kids as a ploy, and they're hypocrites.
Absolutely.
That is true. That Twin Peaks and the Hooter stuff, like,
oh my gosh, it's disgusting.
I've shared a lot.
I mean,
of that
I don't
stuff.
even think is that even like, how is that okay in the food industry world? I don't understand how that's like okay. Seriously.
They're still clean and
when
they
you
have clothes
when you
on.
look at it as a whole, though, this sexual positivity and sex is not dirty. Sex is not bad.
Yeah.
Sex is
No,
not
it's a beautiful thing.
gross. It doesn't matter who it's occurring between. It's not dirty. It's not bad. It's not gross.
Right.
Unless it is occurring between adult and a child, then you've got a problem. But when you start making sexuality as a whole and sex as a whole into something that is dirty and is bad, that's when we teach our children, if someone is touching you in a bad way, don't tell anybody. That is where that comes from. Is
Right.
I can't talk about sex at all, so I better not open my mouth about the fact that somebody is touching me in a sexual manner that
I
shouldn't.
can see that. And in 2021,
and a lot of kids are scared.
In 2021, over 4,000 priests molested children.
And they're
So
still
there you
open for business, ladies and gentlemen.
No
They're
drag
still open
queens
for
that I've
business.
ever read have molested a
Well,
child.
Well, and what's the Catholic guilt? We don't talk about sex when we're Catholic. We don't.
But
talk
it's
about
not
it.
about
I was raised Catholic.
Good, bad, or the other. We don't talk about it, right?
Right.
it's not about all that though. It really isn't, because if it was about sex, they would do something about these other things. If it was about children, we wouldn't have, what is it, Kim, 1,500 kids sitting in DCS offices because they won't fund DCS. They, we wouldn't have the largest teacher shortage in history in Tennessee. Like,
Y'all,
if it was
listen
really
up.
about kids.
Very true, Floyd.
We have hundreds of thousands of children that don't have insurance in this state.
Mm-hmm.
Sleeping on the
are
floor of
fourth
the
in the
DS.
nation. Yeah, we are fourth in the nation for people dying from diabetes. Give me a damn
Oh, my
break.
goodness.
They do not care about children. We
Mm-mm.
have children through the holidays and right now who have been sleeping and living on the floors of Department of Children's Services offices. And that was not number one.
Right,
That was not the number one legislation for this state. A drag show and transgender care was number one priority for a state where people are dying from a treatable illness of diabetes. We have our public schools are being stripped apart, sending, they want to do voucher schools so that they can give you a Christian religion and not teach science and not teach facts and teach their hate. Our schools are falling apart. Nobody has health care in this state. We don't have one available foster home. Don't you think recruiting foster homes? They're forcing women now to have children, and we already don't have foster homes for the kids who are living in the DCS offices.
Yeah.
That just, you can see my cheeks turning red talking about it. It infuriates me.
And
Folks,
they want this to be a white Christian
folks
country.
have got to start calling them out on this hypocrisy, calling it what it is, and folks better start to talk
Speaking
to
up.
folks about voting and getting registered to vote.
100%.
You're going to have to incorporate that into your drag shows, ladies.
I do. I say it every show.
Danielle
I say
does,
it every show. Yes, ma'am.
That'll be the next
watch
thing they
this
take
clip
away from us.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let's
they
let's
want
watch
to. They
this
want to
clip real
erase
quick
us.
That
about.
is going to be on there.
Let's watch this clip real quick about calling people out, and this is how we should do
You
it.
want to ban drag show readings to children?
To minors, yes.
Why?
Why?
What are you protecting?
Why can we prohibit children from voting, those under 18 from voting?
Why are you
but
banning?
Also that
Is that free speech? Are you infringing on that performer's free speech?
they can continue to exercise their free speech, just not in front of a child.
Why?
Because the government does have a responsibility to protect.
I'm sorry?
The government does have a responsibility in certain instances to
What's
protect
the
children.
leading cause of death amongst children in this country? And I'm going to give you a hint. It's not drag show readings to children.
Correct, yes.
So what is it?
I'm presuming you're going to say it's firearms.
No, I'm not going to say it like it's an opinion. That's what it is. It's firearms. More than cancer, more than car accidents. And what you're telling me is you don't mind infringing free speech to protect children from this amorphous thing that you think of. But when it comes to children that have died, you don't give a flying fuck to stop that because that shall not be infringed. That is hypocrisy at its highest order.
It absolutely disgusts me when I heard that more children die of firearms than cancer in this country.
Can we
And
just
this is
shout
what
him
we're
out real
focused
quick?
on.
He is a hero.
Yes.
Like
He
that
is.
video made me feel so many things when I watched it.
It did.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We need more celebrities to speak up like that.
We do, and we have to.
Where's Ellen? I know RuPaul said something, but
well, it
she
took,
was a little,
it took RuPaul.
a little
I
late.
mean, how did you all feel about RuPaul's
But you know how I
speech,
felt.
whatever you want to call it?
I haven't
know.
heard
I
it.
read your
I haven't
comment.
seen it.
Well, she didn't
You're not missing
release
much.
her statement until after the law was passed, the bill was passed.
Well, and it's the same, but it's the same story. I mean, trans rights in particular have been under attack in Texas and Arkansas and Tennessee for years and years and years, and nobody has raised an eyebrow about it except for trans activists, except for a few parents of trans kids. But they go to attack drag queens, and now the community is mobilizing, and I'm very thankful for that. But I need that energy to continue when it's trans kids and their health care on the chopping block, because here's the thing, trans kids are dying. 80% have seriously considered suicide. 40% have attempted suicide. But one affirming adult in their life cuts their suicide risk in half. Gender affirming care cuts their suicide and depression risk. And those are the things that they are taking. They're also removing trans health care from TennCare. So anybody on TennCare can no longer receive gender affirming care. State employees don't have gender affirming care in the state of Tennessee because it is accepted. There's an exception in their policy. This is so wrong.
Yeah.
But we need people
Danielle,
to bring that energy when it's trans kids and trans people, same as when it's drag queens, same as when it's marriage equality. They're attacking marriage equality now.
They're attacking it. Right. I just saw that where you know what the clerk of courts can decide if it's against her religious rights. She can deny interracial, spiritual faith, religion. So if you're a Protestant, a Catholic, she doesn't like it. She can tell you no, he or she. No, I'm not going to give you a marriage license. And same-sex marriage. Danielle and Story, I've heard that there are kids that are on the medications, the trans kids, they're like rationing their meds. How dangerous is that?
Yeah, they're stockpiling, I heard.
Yeah.
I heard that the other day.
And not just kids, adults here too.
Adults too, yeah.
You know, I have, several months worth of estrogen setback just in case. But there's a rush right now to get kids who need it on blockers because they are taking blockers off the table. They're taking everything off the table, and it's going to cost lives. Like, they've got so much blood on their hands. These kids are going to die.
There you go.
Like, there's nothing else they can do. And these are the kids who are lucky enough to have parents who are understanding and affirming. These are the kids who are lucky enough to have parents who will go and make sure that they've got the things that they need. So many of these kids are going to be okay because thankfully they have these parents. But all those kids who don't, their friends, their acquaintances, like they're just feeling so hopeless. And this is what I keep hearing over and over and over from trans kids and from trans adults is like, it feels so hopeless. What are they going to do next?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're now concerned about another bill that they're pushing through that defines sex as gender assigned at birth. What does that mean for me as a trans woman on my driver's license?
Right.
Are they going to go back and change that puts me in danger. That is so dangerous for me. I get pulled over by the wrong police officer. Trans people die in custody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trans femmes are the number one, especially trans femmes of color are the number one most murdered group in this country.
Right. Right.
This is not
well, and that goes back decades. I mean, back before Stonewall. I mean, that was, the Black trans women were always, more risk than anyone, and they still are.
And they still
America,
are.
we've got to do something. We have got to do something. And I've said to many of my friends, I said, I'm not going to sit here and be quiet. Kim, I'm not. I'm with you, girl. I've got my bricks ready. I'm piling them up my back. We've already thrown the bricks once, America. You hear me? We've thrown the bricks once. The drag queen, the trans community, they threw the bricks at Stonewall. They started that. So remember that. And I think so many performers, I see them on TikTok and everywhere else saying you're messing with the wrong group of people. We fight every single day we wake up to be who we are because of you people in America trying to stop it. And it's wrong. And you're messing with the wrong people. Mark my word, you're not going to like it. You're not.
Yeah. Go ahead. Oh,
I was done.
I agree. I'm on board. I'm 100% on board. And what is making me a little sad is like I feel like a lot of queens, a lot of trans people, because it's not happening to us right this second, they're not really that interested. I mean, we have a very large group of entertainers in Northeast Ohio, hundreds, and I rarely see anybody posting about it. And
there's something to be said about the denial factor there too, a little bit, because it's like it's happening there. Oh, that's not going to happen here. I went through that when the abortion ban passed in a couple of states, and then in Ohio, they're not going to do that in Ohio, and they did, and then I went, oh shit, and
I mean, we have to start now, though.
So now the country is irritated women, and they've irritated drag queens, and somebody's going to have a real problem on their hands real soon.
Yes, and we're too worried about another agenda here in Ohio where we're just cancel culture, this and that, and we're drag just fighting drag, and you name it. That needs to stop. We need to stop all of that, join forces, and aim our barrels at the right place. Because if we're fighting each other, that's what they want. They want you destroy from within.
Right.
An army that fights from within is destroyed. They're not powerful. They're not going to win. So all across America, the drag scene needs to stop with, and the gay community as a whole. The age shaming, and you know what, we require and demand respect and love from everybody else.
Yeah,
but within our own community, it's horrible. I don't get it.
I don't get it.
I don't get it.
Maybe it's just Ohio. I don't know. Is it?
No.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing after another, and we just cannot do that. We can't keep our focus. It's just like what's going on out there. You see one thing. We've got all these train accidents here in Ohio. Leaking chemicals everywhere. Oh, it's okay. West Virginia now, Alabama. What's going on? What's going on? Is this really the main focus? Is this the agenda, or is this keeping us from seeing something else? Kim, what do you think on that? Do you think that this is really the agenda?
I don't think it's the agenda. I think the agenda is to shut everybody down until it's old white men in charge of everything and in control of everybody.
Yep.
And I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%. I said, how did we get here that we're going back in time, ladies and gentlemen? Because next it's going to be, like Danielle said earlier, it's going to be the African American, going back in time with them. Then eventually it's going to be the ladies. Women, you're going to not be able to do anything else either. And we're going to go right back in time to where it's white man.
Well,
period.
and they're also putting cisgender women against trans women. Like, I'm sure you've all seen the videos on TikTok, how so many women can't stand trans women. They hate the word cisgender. It's just one thing after another. And I don't know. I feel like social media really does not help any of this at times. Like,
no,
they just put out a narrative and everybody runs with it. They don't even research things. They just run with it. But yeah, there's a big thing about cisgender women against trans women now.
Well, Mona, you wanted to do your first show on narcissism, and I can't think of a better example of narcissism than someone trying to take total power and control over an entire large group of people.
And you know what disgusts me the most? And Kim, you had said it earlier, with McNally and these guys. Here he is. Let's play this clip real quick before we start wrapping things up.
The lieutenant governor commenting. The lieutenant governor comment.
This is actually from Michael Tyranny. I would imagine is a stage name, Moran. From TikTok, he's been very adamant about calling people out, and this clip is about McNally.
The lieutenant governor commenting tonight on his social media scandal, saying he wasn't sure what all the emojis meant.
It was discovered last night that Randy McNally liked and commented on provocative photos of another man.
Oh, Randy, please. I mean, how stupid do you think we are? You're going to play that whole, I didn't realize what those emojis meant. I mean, what did you think? Did you think the eggplant meant that you want him to pick up some produce on the way home from Trader Joe's? No, silly. It means you want some trade. It means you want something that looks kind of like an eggplant. And this is the thing. I wouldn't touch a cucumber in your fridge, that's for sure, because I know you've been in the closet for a long time. And now your wife and your kids, unfortunately, their lives are destroyed by the realization that you're not who you put yourself out there to be. And if you would admit to yourself deep down in those places you don't like to talk about at parties, you realize that there's a reason that you're on Instagram pining after some young boy's thirst trap photos. And you know something? It makes it even more hypocritical and horrible that you are legislating against gay and transgender people in a way that's going to make their lives absolutely miserable there in Tennessee. You're just jumping on a bandwagon to try and hide the truth about yourself. That's the problem. There's so many more like you, too. I mean, Lady Graham of South Carolina. Maybe the two of you could get a log cabin together. You could be log cabin Republicans. Looky there. Lindsay could show you his ladybugs. The two of you deserve each other. It's absolutely ridiculous to me that there are people like you in office legislating based on biblical beliefs that you don't even follow yourself. Think about that one for a minute. I'll tell you something. This is what's going to galvanize the American people. You guys picked the wrong tribe, honey, because we have a lot of allies and we have a lot of energy, and we are going to spend as much time and energy as it takes to make sure that no one like you holds office ever again. Now, take that and put it in your pipe and smoke it.
Bravo,
right?
Yeah.
And Kim, I mean, what can we do? What is it that we can do now as they're starting to pass these laws?
Gonna have to get our asses organized. We have got to get people registered to vote. What I like to tell people all the time, especially the folks on the left here, they say, well, what good does it do for me to vote? I live in a red state. We don't live in a red state. We live in a non-voting state. We're 46th in the nation for the worst voter turnout.
Right. Change that. Yeah.
I mean, people need to wake the hell up. We have got to get registered. We've got to get them to the polls, or this is never going to change. That's our only avenue for change.
Yep.
That and continuing to expose the hypocrites.
Because
With that,
they legitimately do not care. We put forth an amazing campaign to call them about all of these bills, to blow up their phones, to send emails. We were outside their offices. They don't care. They don't care how many of us call them and tell them this is not okay, that this is wrong. They don't care. They are just there because they know they have a very, very small pool of people they have to get out to vote. And those people will come out and vote for them as long as they are being hateful, as long as they are being, homophobic, transphobic, racist, as long as and they know it. They don't say a word when there are literal Nazis marching down the street in front of children at a drag brunch. Yeah. They don't say a word about the Nazis. They have a problem with the drag queens.
That's scary.
Because the Nazis are voting for them.
Right.
Story's hitting on a really, I can't say really enough, a really important point. There is only a small fraction of people voting for them. They're not repping the whole state.
Right.
80% of Tennesseans were against the abortion ban. But those 80% are not the ones voting.
Didn't go vote.
That's unreal. That's crazy.
So we cannot wait till we're too far gone.
Maybe it'll change. Hopefully this will be the boost that we need for you guys, for people to get out and vote.
But it really does feel hopeless here. I live in a district. I live in one of the few state rep districts in the area that has a Democrat as our representative. Mm-hmm. There aren't very many. But even in my district, there are not many elected officials that even run on the Democratic ticket. Wow. My Democratic rep runs, but normally there's not even a Democrat that's running for the Senate seat because it feels so hopeless, because they've got it so gerrymandered out here. They've got the city divided up because they know that's where the Democrats are. That's where people tend to vote more Democratic. Mm-hmm. And they've got big swaths of the country. It's the same. It's the playbook we know, right? We know how to gerrymander, but it really does feel just hopeless when you look down your ticket, when you're trying to vote in a Democratic primary, when you're trying to vote in the general election, and there are 3 Democrats on, for 12, 14 races.
Yeah.
So I think that's where like Indivisible and Change TN and Inclusion TN and some of these other organizations in Tennessee are really pushing to find more people to run. Yeah. I'm actually talking to Change TN about running. I see your smile, Kim. And I live in Senator McNally's district. Mm-hmm. So I figured they just trade one queer for another, Yeah.
Joshua says education is key. And that is true. That is true. We already.
And what is it that he's saying there? The Wadsworth. Okay.
Yeah, we already touched on that. But his comment before that was education is key. And I believe that, but we need more people to get out there and educate. Because the 5 of us, that's just not enough. We need celebrities. We need LGBT people that are high in the ranks to get out there and talk about this. And they're just not. People don't really care unless you're on RuPaul's Drag Race what any other drag queen really says. Let's face it. Okay, unless you're on that show, you're just a drag.
I know Eureka and a couple of the other girls have come out and made comments.
Yeah.
But again, they're only making comments about drag bans. They're not talking about trans rights.
Trans, right. And she's trans, which is which is odd. But no, you're right. Yeah, totally.
So
we need some like Laverne Coxes and like those girls.
Yes. Not the
In-
drag,
in the-
the trans girls that aren't in the drag scene that are doing something else. Yes,
Mhm.
very
That are
that's a
high,
very good
that
statement.
have high visibility, you know, that
High
millions of
visibility, correct.
followers, millions of followers.
Michelle Obama. I mean, I said it.
And real quick, one more
well,
thing, real quick
Floyd
before you, can I say one thing? Let's not forget
Yes.
that the men running all this and doing all this are heterosexual men. Imagine the skeletons in their closets.
Oh, we've
Imagine
already
what
started
they've
seeing
done.
them coming out. Oh yeah,
Exactly. Imagine.
way
They're acting
beyond
like
even
they're
what we can even imagine.
holier than thou. Let's not forget they're men, and most men are not
Absolutely.
innocent. I hate to say it, but it's
Absolutely right.
true. Men are men.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Oink oink. That's all I'm gonna say. Well, ladies, I thank you so much, everyone, for being here. We had a great turnout tonight. A lot of good comments coming through. I tried to post as many as I could. And Floyd, love him. I haven't seen him in a long time. Danielle, you know Floyd. He was talking about what did he say here about starting Drag the Vote initiative and do some PSAs, blast on social media platforms and stuff. Is there something out there called that yet? Drag the Vote?
I believe
we did the Rock the Vote.
Trans
Rock the-
Empowerment
let's
Project. I
start
know
it.
was working on something
starting it.
in that vein.
Trans empowerment. Okay.
Trans Empowerment Project is working on something in the Drag the Vote vein. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but yeah.
Yeah. It's not the Republican.
This is a good statement right here, Tim. We are now facing a group of people who don't have Republican views. We now have a new party forming.
Oh yeah. 100%.
It's
Very,
just
very well
fashion.
said, John. Thank
It's
you.
fashion. Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
just fascism. You're right. You're right.
It's evil.
Danielle, any last words? Anything you'd like to say in closing here?
No, I had a really good time. It was great meeting you all. I respect
It was
you
a
all
great
very
time.
much. And I'm definitely going to go follow you guys on TikTok. I added you on Facebook today. I don't know if you saw that.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. But definitely, it was a pleasure. And, you know, if you
We're gonna
ever
have to
need
go to
anything,
Tennessee.
tag me in anything. I will share it. I will post it. So thank you. And Mona, congratulations on your first episode.
Thank you. It's good to be
Yeah,
back. Thank you. I
Y'all come
appreciate it.
down for Miss Tennessee Continental. I'm the new promoter, and
Oh, I saw you were a promoter. Oh, when is that?
May 14th. Yeah, so we've not had
road trip
Continental in Tennessee we're not sure if it's 5 or 10 years, but
Yeah, I
it's been a
remember.
minute. So we're bringing it back. What better time to come celebrate?
Yeah.
Just beautiful drag than
We'll bring lots of tea and report
Fest.
live.
Do
That
it.
would-
We'll
that would be
report
fun,
live
though,
with lots
Mona.
of
We
tea
should-
from. Brenda, let's do it.
Let's
Mark
do
this
it.
down. We're going to talk about it. Let's talk about it and do it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
We'll
We'll
get
be
the
right down there with
information.
microphones. You're reporting live, Danielle and Mona, with lots of tea. Yes.
I could.
All right, Danielle, I love you. Good.
Hey, I'll be one of your
Go ahead.
on the scene reporters. Seriously,
Yeah,
I
on the
would love
scene.
it.
Yeah.
I would love
I'll
that.
I'll hide in the hotel room and pretend like I'm here, but I'll be down there because I want to.
Right.
All right, I love you. Have fun at your show tonight.
Bye,
Thank you
guys.
so much for joining
Danielle.
us.
Thank you.
And Story, anything you'd like to say on closing going out?
No, just
I'll throw
you
up
know,
that,
get out
Knox
there,
Pride
get
up
rowdy.
again.
Just get out there,
Yeah.
get rowdy, vote, register, go vote. You know, use your privilege. Come check us out at knoxpride.com if you're in Knoxville or East Tennessee. Yeah, that's all I got.
You guys do some great, amazing things for Knox Pride. I was amazed at some of the things you have, like a little, what is that, like farmers
We have
market and stuff like that.
Yeah, we have
Like a
we have
little,
a local
rich
vendors
beer.
market. We're just local creators get to come and sell their wares. We have 30 to 40 different events a month, usually. Social events, life skills, support groups, affirmation days, all sorts of stuff. So
Wonderful. Well, thank you again so much for joining tonight. I appreciate it. You were absolutely fabulous. The viewers loved you. I love you. I'm so glad I got to meet you face to face, not through an email. And I appreciate you being here. God bless. If you
Thanks
need
for having
anything here from us here in Ohio, don't hesitate to ask. Okay. Love you. And last but not least, I'll tell you what. I said to my friend, I was after you hard, girl. And I still can't find that TikTok video. I'm gonna have to post it. Everyone, please watch the TikTok video. She gives me chills still to this day when I watch it. But you know what I said? You don't know until you ask. And I reached out and got a hold of you, and you said absolutely. And I'm so blessed and thankful that you came tonight and joined us. You continue to do what you're doing. If you need us, anything you'd like to say in closing?
Well, I was just honored that you invited me on the very first broadcast. I appreciate that. I just want to mention for all the people that are viewing from different states that Indivisible is nationwide. You can go to indivisible.org, and there's a map of the United States on there. You can click on your state, you can zoom into your city and find your closest Indivisible group. Indivisible groups, we have around 8,000 across the nation. And we're calling out the hypocrites one by one. We're getting people registered to vote one by one. And I would encourage everybody that's watching to please talk about voting and getting registered to vote. I don't care if you're in church, if you're talking to your family, if you're talking to your neighbors. Ask folks if they're registered to vote and ask them to please get out to vote. That's where the change is going to happen.
Do I have that correct down there at the bottom? Indivisible.org.
Oh, yeah.
You see it? That's correct. Indivisible.org. Kim, again, thank you so much. And I hope we stay in contact. Your new friend, you and Story. And I'm serious. Me and Danielle will work it to come down there. And I hope we'll see you. Yeah, let's do it.
Come on down.
I'm excited. I'm all about it. I'm all about it. But we're going to fight. We are going to stand up. We're going to fight. We're not going to keep silent. Like I said, if I die doing this, then I died for something good, because I'm not going back in time, Kim. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to lose the rights that I was given at birth.
I think I'm going to go get me a megaphone in Kim's honor. I'm just going to get me a big old megaphone.
Oh my God, it's wonderful.
It's
wonderful.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Yeah. All right, Kim, love you so much. And again, thank you for being with us, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye. Wow, what a great night, huh?
It was a wonderful night, Mona. I think that we hit on a lot of really important topics, and I think a lot of really important things were covered. You know, I just want to point out that Ohio still does have some very good resources for trans and LGBTQ medical treatment, mental health treatment. There's nationwide links that I kind of made some lists for, but there's also local resources and things like that as well. And you know, they do still exist in Ohio. Take advantage of them while we have them, because it can definitely be a scary thing to think that what has happened in Tennessee might be happening here. And you know, the more we don't necessarily need, you know, a giant superstar to speak out about it. We need a million people to get their voices together and be heard just as loudly.
I lost you there. What was that last part? You froze up. We don't need a superstar. We need what?
We don't need a superstar. We need everybody to get their voices together and be heard just as loud.
Right. Well, I thank you so much. I'm glad that you joined me, Large Marge, and we're going to be back with everyone on April 6th for our next show, the first and third Thursday of the month. I would like everyone to put, go ahead and we have everyone's names in from that we're here today. We'll be doing a drawing. I'm giving away, they're not a bumper sticker. They're like the window decals that say hashtag Mona Lotz. We're going to give one away to a Facebook. You'll get one anyway.
I want one. I want one.
And actually, yes, you'll get
like
one. And
swag.
actually, yes, and I just created our very own Lotz of Tea t-shirts today, and they went t-shirts on the Mona Lotz website went not on the website but the Threadless website. They went on sale today for $13. That's V-necks and all those wonderful things. You can get my merch at monalots.threadless.com. Our little
Still
tag.
have these. I
Oh,
like
look,
these.
she's got the
Oh.
Lots Bic lighters. We still have some, correct, Angel? Some. We have buttons and magnets as well. You can get those through me, not from the website there. But helping hurting hearts. That's our slogan. Lots of tea with Mona, helping hurting hearts. Anything and the sale goes until the 20th, everyone. So that is $13 t-shirts, and then everything else is 30% off store-wide. Again, that is at monalots.threadless.com. Girl, you can get me on a skateboard if you want, or your shower curtain. Be a little scary, but oh well. To each their own. Anything you'd like to say going out?
No, I'm good. Thank you for having me. Thank you for putting this back on the air, and I'm looking forward to some future episodes. Thanks for everybody who joined to watch.
Absolutely. Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye.
All right, that's all we've got. Thank you all again for joining us, and stay tuned for here's our little outro.